everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review, our second review of the week. Once again, we have Campo.Reviews with us, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, everything else in between. Today, we are reviewing WWE Saturday Night Main Event, which happened prior to the Royal Rumble, but the review is coming after the Royal Rumble. But before we get into the review, make sure you go down, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're on Spotify. Give us a follow on Spotify. Help this channel grow. Help that algorithm. Give us a like, give us a comment, all that good stuff. So, Saturday night's main event.
Can we just give him a hand clap? That was the best intro he's ever given. Thank you. Leave a comment below. Tell him how good his intro was. Saturday
Well, I
Night Main
appreciate
Event.
it.
Love the aesthetic again.
Yeah, I love the retro feel of it.
I'm so sorry to just get sucked in by silly things like that, but the
That
commentary,
the old
the
school
setup,
uniforms, the
the
old
music,
yeah.
playing Obsession, you're
Fashion for
like,
those who live in Canada, that was also the fashion television theme.
yes. But and it's funny because it's actually a good song,
Yeah.
but it's like the nostalgia for me is like in my head,
Yeah.
like it's like
Fashion television
clicking
with
all the
Jeannie Becker, man.
receptors. You're like, oh, this is good. What?
That
See boobies.
right? Fashion television. That was my highlight of the Sunday afternoons.
Yeah, my
But
grandfather used to watch it all the time. Freaking perv. Anyways,
what's that's what grandfathers do.
yeah, that's what they do. But
Okay.
yeah,
Starting off.
what a great presentation.
Yeah. And
Better than the first one,
Joe Tessitore is really good at this.
dude. His I was gonna say Gorilla Monsoon.
They call it
Uh,
the Okerlund position.
his Gene Okerlund. I don't even know if he's trying to do an impression, but it's spot on.
Yeah.
Like
Like he has the mannerisms.
it's not an impression. It's literally Gene
Gene Oker.
Okerlund.
Yeah.
I think Jesse Ventura sometimes gets confused because he's so good with it.
Yeah. Jesse Ventura was a
Jesse's
little weirder.
great.
Yeah. That
Not
weirdness
talking
is
about the
great.
Baja, down in the Baja.
But
Shout out to Will Sasso.
we start off first match of the night. Rhea Ripley defending the Women's World Championship against Nia Jax.
Um, it wasn't a great match. It was fine.
Right?
I think there was some good spots. I really liked what, like I said, the growth of Nia Jax and watching her call spots, like watching her put her hand on her mouth. There's a thing in other wrestling companies, you get so used to people calling spots, you
Yeah.
stop watching for it. But in WWE, it happens so rarely that you notice every time someone covers their
Covers
mouth
her
to call
mouth.
a spot because they rarely call in-ring spots.
Yeah.
So the growth of her, like being like,
Her
okay, you're
character.
gonna
Yeah.
do this
Not the character, but her as an in-ring
as an
performer.
in-ring
Yeah.
performer, and
Yeah.
her grabbing Rhea Ripley's ass in that one moment
Was a
kind of
little
took me
weird.
out of it because you're in like a submission kind of like, why would your thought process be to and then Rhea sold it for some
Yeah.
reason.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I used buddy of mine, his name is Jeff. Shout out to Jeff.
my name is Jeff.
His dad was an actual Canadian wrestler. He wrestled on the Canadian
Oh,
circuit.
heavy shout out.
Um,
Five big
and
booms.
and he would say the best way to get out of a headlock was just stick your finger up the opponent's ass.
That's the funniest part that you said that. I've heard old wrestlers say that multiple times.
Just stick your finger
If
right
you're
up
in a
their
fight
ass.
at a bar, just stick your finger in the guy's ass and he'll let you go. Like, oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. Hmm.
But yeah, it wasn't a bad match. I would say this is
Yeah.
a perfect halfway point of a star ranking. Like this is a 5 out of 10, a 2.5
Yeah.
out of 5.
Yeah.
It and it's weird because when I'm ranking movies, a 5 is low, but for wrestling, for me, a 5 is like it's fine. It's a
Yeah.
like the ranking juxtaposition is so
Yeah.
different,
It's different. Yeah.
right? It's where like a comedy, a 6 for a comedy or a horror movie is good, but
Yeah.
for like a real movie, you need like an
Yeah.
8. Um,
I
but it
see you
was
gave Nosferatu a high score. I'm looking forward to watching that. I haven't watched that
it's
yet.
I personally okay, so not to go movies here, but I'll give you 30 seconds. I personally didn't like it. For me and
Okay.
my Robert Eggers scale of his 4 movies, it's the lowest for me.
Okay.
But as a technically made movie, from all the aspects, the acting, the directing, the visuals,
The
uh,
cinematography, the lighting.
the lighting, the music, like everything, the sound, the story, the like all the writing aspects, development, it was a good movie, but I just personally didn't like it because I've seen this story before.
Or yeah.
There's Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Yeah.
there's multiple TV shows, there's the book,
Oh
there's
yeah.
comic books. This story has been told multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's like it just felt like the same thing again. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is awful in it.
Oh really?
Wrestling. He's
Wow.
awful.
Okay.
It was reminiscent of Keanu, but not fun.
Oh, okay.
Keanu in Bram
Dracula.
Stoker's Dracula. It
Okay.
reminded me of that. And he's British, and he couldn't
Yes,
do a British accent.
which is so weird.
Anyways, wrestling.
Um, okay, Rhea Ripley, but like I said, this was fine. At one point, though, you did see Nia sandbag her a little bit.
You did 100%. I saw that too.
Yeah,
Um, and I thought it was weird because I thought
working well together.
they do work well together. I don't know if they're friends, but in the ring they've always kind of worked well
Yeah,
together. Oddly, I think maybe the size of the two of them, it's kind of like a mutual respect of like
yeah,
we can actually hurt each other,
each
not like
other.
these
Yeah,
little girls, right? Um,
yeah,
and I mean, like I said, it was a fine match. It was nothing special. It was serviceable. I'm not
yeah,
upset that I watched it. It felt like a Monday Night Raw match,
yeah.
a
So,
main event.
and Ripley retains.
Ripley retains, rightfully so. It should not have been Nia Jax. It would have made no sense for the Rumble.
No. So with that, Braun Breaker defending the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus.
Pretty good match.
Yeah, like
Like
Sheamus has been.
Sheamus can go. We know
Yeah,
Sheamus can go. He's a put over guy. That's why I like him. That's why I'm what you'll see in our episode the other day about the Royal
the
Rumble
Rumble.
with the putovers that I'm talking about, where I need John Cena to be that guy because Sheamus has been that guy
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah, he has been.
The
And the
whole
fact
time.
and how he put over Braun Breaker, even though they're trying to tell the story about how Sheamus, this is the only belt that's eluding him and the only belt he hasn't won. Like, give him this title win at WrestleMania.
So listen to this. During this match, I realized that my video quality was on 720, so I was trying to turn it to 1080.
Hmm.
Okay, and
You
I
watch it on
accident
YouTube?
no, I watch it on something I don't remember.
Because it was free on YouTube. That's where I
Oh, I
watched
should have
it.
watched it there. I didn't know that. You thanks
And
for telling me.
I
What a
watched it in
jerk. I watched
2160.
it somewhere. Okay, I don't have a 4K monitor on my computer. I have a really big, sexy 1080p, but it's not 4K. It's actually a really good monitor. Anyways, digress. IPS, I love it. Um, the way that I clicked it, I accidentally clicked 1.25 without noticing it. Speed.
Yeah, yeah.
It was right at the moment when he starts doing the rope run, and they're like, "Oh, he can run 23 miles an hour." And I was like, "Holy shit! Look how fast he's running!" I'm like, "What the hell is happening?" So I rewound it and watched it again. I'm like, "How is he running so fast?" And then for like a minute went by, and I was paying attention to the voices, and I'm like, click on the thing. I'm like, "Oh, I'm on 1.25." I was like, "How the fuck is he running that fast?
Yeah.
What's happening?"
But he can run fast,
He
though.
can run fast,
He's
but it was
very
like
fast.
nutso speed. Like
Yeah.
when I saw it, I was like, "There's no way this is for real."
So this is the match where Jesse Ventura was making all the comments about, oh, he's a Steiner, to him, 2 + 2
Two plus two
equals
is 5, and then
five.
the who was it? It was Pat McAfee
Mm-hmm. He
said,
goes, well, at least 33
"At
and a
least we know
third.
33 and a third. One of us will be 33 and a third chance of being right here on the three people on commentary." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny.
That's
I
good.
like
That's good.
that. Smart
Yeah.
because it's TNA. You're referencing something else, and I
Yes.
love that about
And the
wrestling."
fact that they had to censor Jesse Ventura every 30 seconds
So he
because he
said
kept
WWE.
saying the
Mine
WWE.
didn't have that.
No.
My feed didn't have that, but um, this one of the big reasons I didn't like WWE in the beginning when I started to learn to watch wrestling again. Said learn to watch. Started watching wrestling again, and then I learned to like different aspects of wrestling. And WWE kind of became my lowest tier.
Yeah.
And the reasoning, a lot of it was all these other companies acknowledge things they did. In the
Yeah.
beginning of AEW, they would even acknowledge that they were a world champion in WWE. In New
Yeah.
Japan, they would mention WWE. TNA, they would mention
Now
WWE.
they
But
don't
then
even, AEW doesn't even mention that
no, they don't
anymore.
mention anything, which I mean, we're here and there. Okay. We have established, we've moved on, which I'll talk in a second.
Yeah. Because
But
going to yesterday's review with the Motor City Machine Guns, they're showing them with the TNA belts, they're
right. And
showing
I
them with
thought
the
that
New
was good.
Japan
And
Strong
but that's the
belts.
thing. So I have a bit more like to watch WWE because you're willing to acknowledge the accomplishments of people and their career, and not
Yeah.
that the only thing they've ever done in WWE is in WWE.
Yeah.
Like to not acknowledge the past accomplishments of AJ Styles or Finn Balor to me, or Shinsuke Nakamura,
Yeah.
just to name a
It's
couple
criminal.
people, is criminal because they are all-time greats in their categories.
Yeah.
Do not acknowledge that and to be like, well, oh, AJ Styles is a one-time WWE champion. Yeah, but he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Oh, Kurt
Yeah.
Angle won 3 WWE titles. Yes, but post WWE, He's still one of the greatest wrestlers of all. He's even better.
I would say his TNA run towards the end was better than any of his
Kurt Angle
WWE's.
moonsaulting off the top of a cage is peak wrestling. Okay.
Yeah,
And I was not a Kurt Angle fan. Jeremy, who we were with watching the Rumble, that's in his top 5. And it got
yeah,
me curious. Let me watch other wrestling. Started watching Kurt Angle matches. And even in WWE, I will admit, Kurt Angle is one of the greatest wrestlers of
yeah.
all time. To
Agreed.
not acknowledge what him or AJ Styles did is criminal. To look at it, what I was saying, not to drag this review out forever,
Yeah,
but let's just have some conversation. AEW, people will always be like, oh, you don't like New Japan, automatically AEW. And in the
yeah,
beginning, I started by watching New Japan. I mean, you got me to watch Revolution, and then I watched
yeah.
Mania, and then I went full on New Japan.
New Japan after that
But then I still, the only show I watch weekly, I guess, unless you count when we watch
is
Noah
Dynamite.
or is Dynamite, or New Japan is Dynamite, not even TNA we
Because at
watch,
least the
right?
Dynamite, the matches are good.
They're always good. The
The stories
storytelling
don't
is
make
doo doo,
sense. Yeah,
right? But I'd rather watch that than watch WWE and get some good stories, but then watch 7 doo doo matches, kind
yeah.
of. You know what I mean? And it's not to disrespect WWE. It's just that's what it is. The pay-per-views is where I get the good WWE matches, and that's
Yeah.
why I come for
And we were
these events.
talking, if this were a Noah show, this would have been like 8 hours in.
It would have been like 8 hours, but it would have been every match would have been a banger.
Yeah.
And I don't need WWE to get necessarily longer, but I think I need 6 matches or 7 matches on a
Well,
card.
saying what we said like yesterday in yesterday's review, there were only 4 matches on the card, but by the time we were all done, it was like 11 o'clock.
But the Rumbles make that, right? If it
Yeah.
was a normal pay-per-view, I need more match because a long WWE match we said is like
Yeah.
15 minutes. A long AEW match is 30 minutes. A long New Japan Noah match
Is
is
an
like
hour.
40 minutes, an hour. And like just my point, what I was saying, people automatically get defensive, I think, because it happens to me a lot with people at work, where it's like if I say something negative about WWE, they automatically go, "Oh, AEW sucks." I don't care. I'm through and
I
through at this
I
point.
just
I'm
want
going
to
to admit
watch
this.
good wrestling.
I just want to watch good wrestling, and I will admit this right now for everybody out there watching this video to hear. And I understand my place now in the wrestling world. I am through and through and through and through a Japanese wrestling guy. Not Mexican, not American, not Canadian, not British. They could be from those places, but Noah, New Japan,
Hmm.
Dragon Gate, DDT, All Japan, that's my wrestling.
Yeah.
I still watch this. I still like it.
Yeah.
But I prefer that style of wrestling because I'm here for the sport. I'm
Yeah.
not here for the nonsense. And only American wrestling has
Gives you that
nonsense.
nonsense.
Japanese wrestling is full of comedy,
Hmm.
but
But in the right spots.
it's actually like funny most of the time, right? And
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there because I think everyone's negative comment is like, oh, you didn't like this WWE match, AEW sucks. So I don't care about AEW.
Yeah.
AEW sucks at telling stories. Sucks.
Me personally, I don't have an allegiance to companies. I just want to watch good wrestling.
Exactly. I have an allegiance to a country.
Yeah.
It's like CMLL bangers. AAA sucks. Okay, I'll say that. Sorry,
Yeah.
Conan.
Remember when it used to be the opposite? Remember when AAA was better?
Remember, we started off being so obsessed with AAA, and then it just went beep. Boop. I like Psycho Clown though.
Yeah,
Wait,
Psycho
what's his
Clown is
name?
good.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Psycho Clown. It comes out to Three Dog Night. The show
That's a
must
good
go on.
song. Shout out to Paul McCartney because it sounds exactly like a Paul McCartney song when he was with Wings.
Silly little love songs.
I sat in the attic, a kilo up my nose. Anyways,
let's talk about Braun Breaker versus Sheamus a little
good
bit
match.
more.
Actually, good match.
Yeah,
Love the
and
selling.
Sheamus does the job, puts him over
I'm
as
here.
he should.
Appreciation for a guy doing his best impression of Kenny Omega for a young guy.
There you go. So Braun Breaker retains with that. With that, we get into a match: Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu.
Okay, let me say this, and then I'll promise I'll let you say whatever you want. The match was actually good.
Mm-hmm.
I would have went to the point of saying, with the storytelling they did here, 2 things with it. Okay, it's undercut by 2 things. This could have been one of the best setup matches of the year so far, with the story it told and what happened in the ring and showing how strong Jacob Fatu is. Okay, number one thing, the spots that he gave him with the hip check, like the Tony Storm move in the corner, he does it like 6 times. He doesn't even get close once, and WWE never cut away from the angle where it kept showing him missing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also half point because there's a blood spot and you could tell it's a capsule. He didn't actually bleed. Okay.
Yeah.
Number two, he showed up at the Rumble a week later after
Just fine.
he's dying, he's having internal injuries. So those two knocks on this match, I have to take away
Yeah.
points. But the match was actually good, and the storytelling was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Now go.
And they made Fatu look like a they wanted they did exactly what they set out to do and make Fatu look like a monster.
And I feel
That
like they've been
spot
struggling to do that.
that spot where he's on the top turnbuckle and he does the moonsault over the security staff onto Braun Strowman, like those are some pretty awesome
He
spots.
executed three perfect moonsaults.
Yeah. For a
Um,
man that big, it's kind
I'm
of
gonna be honest though,
impressive.
not to take away from this match because I don't think it has anything to do with this match. And I understand they're trying to push the crazy character that Fatu
Fatu.
is, but I think this specific storyline was supposed to be catered to Jonah. What's his name?
Oh,
Bronson
Bronson
Reed.
Reed.
I think
Too many bronze.
I think they were trying to do this storyline with Bronson Reed to show that he was an animal. And then because he's injured, they just defaulted to Fatu. But I think it works because
It
he's like
works
the
with Fatu.
wild
Yeah.
card,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you just cut to the opposite angle of that, the hip shots, you
It
could
would
have
have looked
sold me on this
so
match
good. Yeah.
so hard. I wouldn't even care about the blood.
Yeah. A couple fun points in this. We got Dory Funk Jr. in the crowd. I haven't seen. I
Yeah,
thought.
what?
Yeah.
We had Fluffy in the crowd,
Yeah.
Alondra Blaze.
Yeah.
Who else
Oh,
was
shout
there?
out to the Rumble. O'Shea. What's his name?
Oh,
O'Shea.
O'Shea Jackson was at the
Sims.
Rumble.
Yeah.
Stephen Amell was at the Rumble. You had Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson were
Anderson.
here.
Yeah.
It was a good cast of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. We also got the contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens in this.
Look at this.
Yeah. I don't
Waste
care.
of time. Absolute. I don't know why you would do this on this. Do that on Raw.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So
Are
with
they on
that,
Raw?
no, they're on SmackDown, but whatever.
Okay.
Do it on SmackDown. With that, our main event of the evening, Gunther versus main event Jey Uso for
Timeout.
yeah.
Why wouldn't you do the signing on the SmackDown the night before the Rumble? Why would you do
I
it a week
don't
earlier on Saturday night?
WWE?
I don't get that. I never even thought of that till right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I know.
digress.
But yeah. Gunther versus Jey Uso. This was a really good
This
match.
was a really good match. And it's not to take away from Jey Uso because my issue with Jey Uso, and I don't even know if I talked about it in the last video. I was talking to Danny about it between us starting to film,
Hmm.
and we talked about it there. Jimmy and Jay are equally the same caliber of wrestler.
Yeah.
They're basically the same character. They're also twins and look the same.
Yes.
So, what makes Jey Uso better than Jimmy? Nothing to me. So, and it's not to take away from Jay, but if you're someone watching these matches and you're like, "Oh, Jimmy's not that good," well, yeah, then also Jay is not that good.
Yeah,
and
because it's the
not,
same. They have the same moves.
I don't
They
want
have
to
the
take
same.
away from him here because I think this match was really good, but I think Gunther really helped to carry a lot of this match.
Yes.
Also, I just shout out to the environment here. The crowd was better than the Rumble.
Yes, the crowd was hot there. The Rumble, I think it's also like we said too. It's also the arena, Lucas Oil Field. It's a very
Yeah, it's
deep
very
arena, yeah, and
yeah.
open, so the sound
It's fair,
doesn't
but there's a
yeah,
lot more people. There's like triple the amount of people.
yeah. According to
Um,
Pat McAfee, there was like 80,000 people in the arena.
yeah, 70,000 were workers, but
Yeah,
the walkway, the thin walkway with the old barricade, I think adds a lot because it makes the crowd
yeah.
come so in, and it gives you this like intense environment of like it makes you feel like those days when Macho
Like the
or like
old school feeling.
Warrior
Yeah,
would run out full speed and everyone was just trying to slap him as he went by.
yeah.
Like I like it. I like it a lot.
But yeah. Other than that, this was a great match. Gunther really put on a great show. Made
This was
Jey Uso look like a star. And if you
this was
watched
one
our
of the
review,
best. Like I don't know what you would call this because it's I guess a special.
yeah, TV
Uh,
special.
This is at least at this point of the year, maybe the best TV match they've had
Yeah,
for WWE, barring the Penta versus Chad Gable because that was
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, that was
It's one of
special,
those
that
two.
match.
It's one of those two.
But once again, though, Jey Uso does fall short.
He should not disrespectfully, but he should. And
Yeah,
he got what he came
he,
for.
yeah, he. So if you go watch our review yesterday, Jey Uso is your Royal Rumble winner. So
Does he
props to
challenge
him.
Gunther?
Absolutely, he does.
And he wins this time. That's what I
This
didn't
what,
even think of that because he lost.
yeah,
Now he's gonna win. I didn't even think of that.
and our theory now too is because the Chamber is here in Toronto, Sami Zayn is winning the Chamber and
And he's gonna
face
Cody.
Cody
But then who wins Money in the Bank? Does Kevin Owens win Money in the Bank and
and
then
cashing
challenge
in on.
Sammy?
Yeah,
And Sammy gets mad about it?
yeah, I like that.
That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna become friends again when he wins the title, and there's gonna be
Hmm.
this whole thing of like the Tiffy thing where it's like, is he gonna cash in on him?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
they did
lame,
the
but
story, they just did it, but WWE would double do it.
yeah, of course they'll double that. They did the same thing 2 years in a row with Cody.
Yeah.
So
They did the same thing twice in a row with the Bloodline. It's been going for
yeah,
17 years.
since COVID. So with that, that closes out Saturday night's main event, the 38th Saturday night main event. There's two more scheduled for the year, one in May and one in July.
I like them a lot.
Yeah, I have fun with these.
Environment wise, viewership wise, entertainment wise, I'm gonna be super honest here. This is not
Hmm.
my score. They're like they give me 9 vibes because I'm just having such a good time. I don't even care
Hmm.
that the matches are if the match is not good.
But the thing is, it's only 2 hours and it's four matches, which is perfect for 2 hours.
I think this one is hurt by this contract signing.
Hmm.
Even if the first match was kind of weak, the contract signing wasted a lot of time and
Yeah.
kind of took this one down for me. I'm going to give this a 7-5.
Yeah.
That's still a good score.
Oh yeah.
It's 1 point lower than I gave the Rumble. Um, but it's a lot of it is due to like the feeling of it. It's just it feels right. Like there's
Yeah.
something about this era of WWE, WWF that's
Yeah.
comforting.
The
It feels
pre-attitude era. Yeah.
it doesn't feel like I'm watching Raw and it's silly, goosey shit. It doesn't feel like I'm watching these pay-per-views where sometimes it's boring and it's over the top. It just
They know how to do nostalgia right.
it pulls me in, and I feel like I'm renting a
Those
best
Coliseum.
greatest
Yeah.
hits Coliseum video from Frank's at the movie store, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to go home and watch this.
Yeah.
No,
It's true. It's like if one thing WWE knows how to do well, it's nostalgia. Because remember a few years ago they did the Raw 25th anniversary and they did it from the Hammerstein Ballroom and they had the old set and they had the
there's
like.
2 companies to me that do nostalgia the best. It's Noah and
Hmm.
WWE.
Yeah, Noah does it really
Noah
well.
bringing in the Nakamura matches and Noah bringing in AJ Styles
Muda and
and like all that stuff, having the retirement matches that they did, throwing us things where we get to watch Marufuji versus
yeah,
Go Shiozaki, and it's like it's comforting. And even though didn't grow up with it, it feels like home when you're watching like Masawa versus
yeah,
Koda or oh my god, how did I just forget his name?
Hayabusa or
No, what's the guy's the yellow pants? They're the 4 pillars of heaven.
Kob
Kobashi,
Kobashi,
Kenta Kobashi.
Kenta Kobashi. Yeah,
It feels like that, like something like that. Like, it feels
yeah,
like, and I wasn't there for that, but it's comforting. And I wasn't there for
yeah,
that WWE era, but growing up as a child, there's something about it that just
yeah. Because I mean, when you were a kid, like a little kid, I was the one watching that. Like,
I started watching wrestling. We pinpointed it. If you go back to our early videos when we talk about a lot of stuff,
hmm
it's mid 96 when I was about 9.
yeah,
And
right,
just
just
before
before
the
uh,
NWO showed up. So
yeah,
just before the Attitude Era, when there
right
was still
before,
the
yeah,
new gen, when Goldust was just starting to come out and Bret Hart was champion, and you had the Dungeon of Doom storyline. The Giant had
yeah.
just got to
And you
WWE.
had
That's
what's
like
his
where it
name?
came.
What's his name there? Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah, right. And that was my guy. Ahmed Johnson was my favorite. Ahmed Johnson and Farouk, I love
Yeah, the
them.
Pearl River Plunge.
Right. And it's that's why because Canada's Bizarro World. Because it's not like they didn't push them in WWE, but WWE always had that aspect of like, oh, they're black.
Yeah,
So they're not the top guy, even if
yeah.
we push them. But in Canada, it's Bizarro World. We were like, oh, that guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah, like Farouk was just like amazing. Him and his half wedgie he would get all the time.
And I was watching Wrestling with Regret, and he was doing a retro review. I don't remember what pay-per-view it was. It must have been like 2000, 1999, something like that, maybe
Okay.
99 Royal Rumble. And he's like, Canada always was like the not it's not
Besi
just Canada, it's
yeah,
Japan, Mexico, England is like this
anything
too,
outside of the
out of the
US.
US. He's like, Canada was always Bizarro World, but I think this is the moment when people realize that that's how Canada was because they were cheering for the Owen Hart, even though it was right
He was
before
the
the Blue
heel.
Blazer gimmick. When he remember he they were pretending the blue
Yeah,
blazer wasn't him, and then he came out of retirement as Owen Hart to wrestle Steve
yeah,
Blackman,
yeah,
I think. And he's
yeah.
like,
That's when he was doing the Black Heart.
no, that's when he had the danger thing.
Yeah, the Black
Was it
Heart. He was
Blackheart?
calling
Okay.
himself Blackheart Owen.
And he just came out of retirement, and they're like, he was the heel by far, and everyone was cheering
I think
for
he
him. And he's like,
just left the Nation of Domination at that time
yeah, I
too.
think so. No, he
Yeah,
left, he retired, came back as the Blue Blazer, and then came out of retirement as Owen Hart.
yeah,
And he's like, this is the moment when I think the WWE world finally realized that being in Canada's bizarro world, because they were
yeah,
all cheering for the heel just because he's Canadian.
yeah. You got to choose your favorites, right? I don't care if you're the good guy or the bad guy.
I think you should cheer for wrestling.
Yeah, my
You boo a
grandfather.
heel on an entrance,
Yeah,
but
but you
then
cheer the wrestling.
you cheer the wrestling. Like that's what I like about AEW is there's the heels are still like good wrestlers. So you're like,
Yeah,
oh, let me cheer.
yeah.
Where I feel like in WWE, you're much more conditioned to just only boo
The heel.
the heel.
Yeah.
In Japan, there's no, I don't even,
No,
it's
they
hard for
just
me. They don't really have heels.
no.
I mean, they do. Don't get me wrong. There's heels
House
and
of Torture's
faces,
a heel. Yeah.
but it's like, do people boo House of Torture?
No, they love him. They
People
love
have
Ren Narita.
flags House of Torture.
Everybody
Evil's
has their
really popular.
yeah.
Anyways,
Evil's also really good.
sidetracked this. What did you score it?
I gave it same thing you gave Royal Rumble, a 7-6.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Make sure you go check us out on Spotify. Check us out on all the platforms that we're on. Go to his channel. You know, if you need something reviewed, Campo reviews it for you. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in next week. Next week is New Beginning in Osaka. I think we may or may
And we'll
not.
be there.
We'll be there,
There'll be
but
some kind of video.
there'll be some kind of video. So we got New Beginning in Osaka, and then we have Vengeance Day coming up as well, which is Stephanie Vacour versus Fallon Henley.
You don't have to tell me. I'm already there for that.
Yeah. So thanks again for joining us. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.